Dogs barking, phone ringing, music blaring, people talking, pipes rattling. We all get overstimulated. It's caused by too much sensory input and it can happen to anyone. Your brain has a max capacity for the amount of stimulus and sensory information it can process. She go, oop, that's enough. While overstimulation can happen anywhere, it tends to happen in loud and chaotic environments. It happens unexpectedly, or it could even happen in commonplace circumstances, like when people yell suddenly in a video game or when a car horn sounds outside on a walk. Everyone is different. What overstimulates someone depends on their disposition, genetics, sensitivity to stimulus can run in families, as well as their current emotional state and past experiences. Overstimulation or sensory overload occurs when you can't process all of the sensations that your brain is experiencing. Some people are more sensitive to noise or smells. While for me personally, noise becomes overstimulating quickly, I am more frequently overstimulated by environmental heat or interpersonal conflict. For some, frequent overstimulation is part of a chronic issue known as sensory processing disorder. It can also be related to autism, ADHD, or PTSD. Here's an example of when I get easily overstimulated. The grocery store. And here are some reasons that I've figured out why. There's loud noises, or music, there's a crowded space, there's a drastic change in the environment, in the harsh fluorescent lighting, my house does not have that, and the cold chill of the freezer section, and all of the intense smells that come with the grocery store. I'm sure there are more, but I'm currently manifesting a grocery store in my brain, and my amygdala is saying, no! So let's move on. Which brings me to, there's an almond-shaped little guy in your brain called the amygdala, which is part of the limbic system. These two parts of your brain can auto-detect danger. Overstimulation can cause you to be irritable, stressed, agitated, overwhelmed, and anxious. So how do we deal with it? So now we know what it is. How do we deal with it? Number 1, identify what is overloading your senses. Overstimulation can sneak up on you. It's not always as easy as it seems. For instance, when you're at a social gathering, suddenly your clothes might become tight and uncomfortable. The music is too loud, everyone's voices are suffocating, but you start to notice these things gradually after a period of time. It can take some self-awareness and awareness of your surroundings to figure out what it could be. But don't worry about figuring it out. Handling it safely is much more important. Number 2, if you can, reduce the amount of stimulus you're getting. With the party example we're using, you could excuse yourself to go take a breath of fresh air outside or go on a walk. Go to the restroom and splash some water on your face. Get yourself out of there, just for a minute. Number 3, if you can't remove yourself from your environment, I recommend you speak up, especially if you have a trusted friends with you. Let them know that you're being overwhelmed, and good and true friends will understand. Might always ask how they can help. If they don't take you seriously, you should absolutely, courteously let your feelings be known, and then do what you can to help yourself. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. Number 4, prepare! When I'm about to go into an environment that will tackle my senses, I will prepare for battle with stimuli. These are a little expensive, but if you find that you're exposed to long periods of intense stimuli, you might try to get loop earplugs. I love those things. They're great to have in theaters or concerts. I also recommend soft, comfortable fabrics for all my prisms out there that get overstimulated easily. My last tidbit of advice is be easier on yourself. Like I said earlier, everyone goes through this. You're not alone or weird or strange for this. Your feelings and comfort level matter. Remember that. Before I say goodnight, I have to mention that I'm not sponsored by Loop Earplugs, nor BetterHelp, the therapy site, nor by anybody else at the moment, but use the tools you need to get healthy. Goodbye, lovelies! A huge thank you to my Pickle and Orion in my Patreon, and to the Occultist for being my manager, producer, and thumbnail conjurer. Round of applause! Okay, now one for me.